What is happening, my YT Gizang? Y'all already know what time it is, man. This is your boy Rio, and today we finna be talking about how there's a lot of people who feel like Shedeur Sanders should be in a certain position when it comes to the training camp, and how you got former NFL players and veterans who feel like if Shedeur continues to perform the way that he is performing, he should definitely be the #1 guy going into week 1. And we finna talk all about it, man. So sit back with your boy real quick and let's get into this sports talk. Yeti. Now, as we all know, the mandatory minicamp is officially over with, in which you got a couple of guys that feel like, based off of how Shedeur Sanders has been performing, he should be going into the training camp as the #2 quarterback. Okay, if you guys do not know who Earl the Pearl and Spencer German are, there are guys that work over at 92.3 The Fan, in which they had a lot to say when it came to the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders, in which they really do feel like the way that man has been performing, he should be going in as the #2 quarterback during the training camp. Now, let me read to you guys just what they had to say, okay? Both Earl the Pearl and Spencer German agree. The rookie has shown enough to earn that spot behind whoever ends up QB1. It's not about his draft status or name. It's about what we saw on the field. Sanders showed poise, accuracy, and leadership. When he got his opportunities, he delivered. He didn't look overwhelmed. He looked like he belonged. And let's be real, veterans are starting to gravitate towards him. That don't just happen by accident. You can feel the energy shift when Shedeur is in the huddle. There's a quiet confidence there, and it's turning heads inside that locker room. Upside matters in a year where the Browns are clearly looking toward the future. Let the kid rise. QB2 needs to be Shedeur, period. Now, the QB tracker that I'm showing you guys right now is based on the OTAs and the mandatory minicamp combined. And when you look at it, there's absolutely no reason why Shedeur Sanders shouldn't be going into the training camp as the #2 guy. Look at the completion rating. Of course, he outdid both quarterbacks. We're not going to add Flacco because we already know where Flacco lies, all right? We're just going to be talking about Sanders, Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel. He has a better completion rating, point blank period. You see it right there. Kenny Pickett had 10 more attempts than Shedeur Sanders and still didn't manage to get more completions nor more touchdowns than Shedeur Sanders. When you look at Dillon Gabriel threw the ball 30 more times than Shedeur Sanders, and he still failed to get more touchdowns. And when it comes to completion, he only got 7 more completions than Shedeur Sanders out of 30 more attempts. Can you only imagine how many more touchdowns and completions that Shedeur Sanders would have had if he threw the ball 30 more times? That is all I'm saying, okay? The numbers right there don't lie. And I know it's going to be people that's probably got something to say about, oh, well, he was throwing against these guys. Well, Dillon Gabriel was too. So at the end of the day, that shouldn't be an excuse. He can't help who he got to go against. And then we can argue outside of the numbers. This man is building a team morale. He has veterans that's surrounding him and supporting him. These boys are going out. You got veterans and captains on that team that are literally out here talking highly on his name. They're out here talking to former NFL players, Hall of Famers, about how good he looks and how much a team morale he brings into that locker room. So I don't know, man. If you got a quarterback like this, you can't pass up on that. All right, that is very important. This man is the first one to come in, the last one to leave. So when you look at Shedeur Sanders, everything about him tells you that he is capable of being that #1 guy up there in Cleveland. All right, now, you do have some veterans, some former NFL players that really do feel like if Shedeur Sanders continues to perform the way he's performing, especially through the preseason, there's no reason why he shouldn't be the #1 quarterback going into week 1. Okay, if you guys don't know who James Jones is, he's a former NFL player and now recent commentator on the facility, in which, you know, at the beginning, he felt like Shedeur had to really earn his spot. He had to do a lot of things to get to that #1 spot. But now he's starting to speak a little differently. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Whatever you see and whatever you hear is about the young fella getting better. If he steps into this preseason and he plays well and he looks like he's been looking out here at practice and he looks like the Shedeur Sanders from Colorado, you have to start this young boy week 1.
Oh, wow.
It is going to be so much pressure put on this organization. It has been years and years and years since the Cleveland Browns has had a consistent, good quarterback. And you sneak and get this one in the 5th round. I think if he shows that he can play with this open competition, the coach is telling us that they are having, and I believe he's the best one out there talent-wise from top to bottom, put him out there week one, let him start, and let him go through his ups and downs.
Look, there's a lot that Shedeur Sanders had to face coming into this situation. And he managed to rise to the occasion and overcome adversity and every other obstacle that was standing in his way. So there's no reason. And looking at these numbers, hearing how people are talking when it comes to commentators, when it comes to certain coaches, when it comes to his veteran players, teammates, and everything that comes along with it, there's no reason why he shouldn't be coming into the training camp as the number 2 guy, or at least getting the same amount of reps that the number 1 guy is getting. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation. Do y'all think Shedeur Sanders is that guy, or should he at least be the number 2 guy going into the training camp? Or do y'all feel like if he continue to perform the way he's performing, then he should get that chance to being the number 1 guy by week 1? Y'all drop them comments down below. I got to get up out of here. I'll see y'all on the next one. Yeti.